has carried out the first torpedo strike since World War II. Here it is, sinking an Iranian warship sunk off the southern coast of Sri Lanka. It's about 4,000 k's from Tehran. Former RAAF fighter pilot Christian Boucousis joins me now to discuss. Boo, good morning to you. Thanks for your time this morning. What did you make of that one?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bullseye. It was a pretty impressive, although it wasn't the first submarine that has been sunk by a torpedo since World War II, first American torpedo. Yeah, it's certainly up the ante, and I think just demonstrates the US commitment to this particular conflict, to start operating in international waters, to target such a large vessel, is really just sending a signal that this is serious business.
Yeah, and it's spreading. So what have you made so far of the nature of the conflict from a military point of view, the precise nature of it?
Well, look, if you look at it from a pure military perspective, it goes back to that whole shock and awe campaign that we all saw way back in the Gulf War, except it's even bigger from an air campaign perspective. And as uncomfortable as war is, and whatever your opinions are, if you're going to have a war, you want to concentrate your efforts up front as quickly as possible so the business is over and done with. So I think it's up, take the politics aside, the perceptions of the entire geopolitical situation, but from a campaign perspective, I think it's very decisive, and it's having a significant effect.
I was going to ask you about that because, I mean, I'm looking at all this and the matchups, as it were, and I wonder how long the US and Israel can sustain strikes and defence capability, given the weight of numbers and the expense. For example, $20,000 Iranian drones are being taken out by $4 million US interceptors. The capability there is interesting to me, and how long that can be sustained for.
Yeah, and that's a much larger question around the future of warfare, and once you layer in AI, and I'm in Poland at the moment, and there's a battle raging 200 kilometres from where I am right now, where they're trying to solve the same problem. But you would have seen reports recently that the US has also started to employ these low-cost drones because there is a quality in the quantity, and we saw the US F-15Es getting shot down by the Kuwaiti armed forces. When you start throwing more and more numbers, and you have to remember that in air combat, you're not seeing airplanes, you're seeing little blips on a screen. And the more blips on a screen, the more confusing the situation. And then you have events such as that friendly fire event we saw the other day.
I wanted to ask you about that too, and your reaction to that 3 US fighter jets which went down over Kuwait. How does something like that happen by mistake?
Yeah, it's something you train for. It's something that is a risk of war. And you keep hearing that phrase, the fog of war. Really, that just means no one knows what's going on because there's so much going on. And I think whether it was shot down, there's reports that it was a Kuwaiti fighter jet that shot it down. Whatever it was, everything happens in air combat very, very quickly, within seconds. So whether they had any warning that they're about to be shot down, it would have been the minimum amount of time to react. And the airplanes themselves are big. They're like the size of a tennis court. They're a very big airplane, the F-15, which gives it some resilience. And the good news is that all 6 aviators managed to get out of the aircraft, and it was nice to see one of them smiling on the beach as they got picked up by some very generous Kuwaitis.
Good to talk to you, Boo. Appreciate that. Sarah.
Thanks for having me, Carl.